What is up? So out here in my garage slash laboratory, I realized that next to my fan I use out here, there was another fan just left abandoned out here. And my daughter left it out here because it needed to be thrown away because it quit working. And she stole another fan from another room, put it in her bedroom. So it just made me think, while we were out here changing oil in her car, I was telling her, I go, you know, growing up around my grandpa and everything, we didn't just simply throw stuff away. We would often take it apart, see what was wrong, and maybe fix it. And you can see this, you can kind of already see, it's typical in half. This thing is tight. Tight. So, of course, it just hummed, it wouldn't start. But this is one of those remote control, variable speed, fans. So I'm going to see if we could take it apart, take a look at it, maybe get it working again. So, dug out one of my old cameras and used clips out of that, so I don't have to try holding my phone. So out here in my garage, I got my high wall running, and of course this 1-ton high wall doesn't just drop the temperature in the whole garage, here in the summer, but it does blow cold air right here, so I'll be fine standing right here underneath that air. It does start to slowly cool off the garage. I mentioned this before, but if you don't have this fallback foam, highly recommend it. So this unit up here, of course, is running off of off-grid solar in the backyard. Actually, a couple things are running. Well, this ducted one turned off. And it's actually tapping a little bit on battery power now. That's because the heat pump's finishing up, reheat my 50-gallon tank over there. So it's taking 900 watts. Depends on how much. We've been having partial overcast on and off, but there it goes. It's starting to tip back up a little bit. 2.6 kilowatts. And actually, it's not using any batteries now. It just started dipping and starting to tap the battery. So I'm about breaking even as it's going up and down on the kilowatt. Coming out of the solar panels, I'm using about 2.55, 2.6. Especially with this light on, it's up 100 watts just turning this LED out. So there's 2.4 now, and it keeps going up and down. So essentially, I'm breaking even right now at about 2 p.m. to reheat my 50-gallon tank and run this high wall. Cool air on me. So sometimes I come out here and just turn this on a little bit on the timer every day, just because I'm not even using all the energy, the potential that I have on my off-grid panels in the backyard and my batteries. Anyway, that said, let me go ahead and start taking this apart. And I'm going to switch to the other camera for that. Okay, I think I'm recording video. It took me a while to find the button. I haven't used this Sony HX80 digital camera for a long time. Especially since all the new Samsung S-series starting to rival the quality of the video. This is just a 1080, it doesn't go to 4K. Should have a larger sensor than what's in the phone, but I don't know. That does have a lot of optical zoom in it though. Anyway, yep. There's quite a bit of junk in there. I have to pull some off just to get to the screws, right? Alright, was going to go ahead and continue cleaning it, but might not be worth it. Back and take this loose. About to find out. Looks like all machine screws. What's right here? This really just needs to take the motor apart. I'm trying to see what's stopping this thing. Oh, there's another screw under there. Cannot get to it while this is all in the way. That's not a machine screw. There's a little worm drive for the, or whatever you want to call it, that does the
pivots the fan back and forth. Strip this. Oh. I'm not going to move the camera, it's going to pause it, but I'm going to go stick this in my vise over there. Okay. Once in the vise, I was able to side cutters on there. Head of that's pretty jacked up. So this just hangs off of there. I don't ever use that function anyway. So man, this thing is it's tight in there. So goal is just to get to the bearings, take it apart, polish it, put it back together. It's generally, as long as it comes apart in a reasonable fashion. And it's funny because it's like, I tried to get my daughter to do it, but she's of course too busy. I don't have any sons, I got robbed. But they can't fathom doing this stuff. But when I was a kid, you didn't have anything to do. I was poor and stuff. You didn't have anything to do except for stuff like this, you know. So this one ain't gonna pull apart because it's got, unless I pull this roll pin out. Got a bunch of freaking hair on it right there. May or may not have to take it out because I could probably just. I'm gonna see if the shaft is goofed up. Okay, so the front. It's not the front so much. I'll just add oil to that cavity, but you can probably see right here. This is pretty trashed. Or at least, you know, you can see it's been hot. So, see if I can polish that side just a little bit. All right, here we go. Gotta be careful because it's got a cutting wheel here to kind of hold this straight. Buffing wheel there. Well, it ain't no machine shop. That should work. Well, I'm sure it's better than nothing. Looks like I need to get some more of this. So there's a little sponge pocket down in here. And you never know if there's a work or not work. Sometimes it works great. Sometimes it works for like a day and then it'll quit. Up. I think there's an arrow, so I think it actually goes up this way. Pretty okay. Didn't really set this video up. And I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff in a hurry, so I mean this is just, you know, a big mess, but it's more for just to bring up the subject, you know, taking apart and servicing, fixing, you know, stuff like this. Alright, put that other piece. That's gonna need some grease in there, but again, I don't even use that part. So, should I put the screwed up screw back in the same spot? That's all she gets. Technically, she'll plug it in, try it out. It turned on. Cool. Okay. So this here, says just a little gear for pivoting on. I ain't even gonna use that. I don't think my daughter uses it, so I'm not gonna even bother getting the gear oil out. That's on there. So stick this one on next. Just like that. I think there was one screw back here. I'll let that noisy compressor pump back up. I'm gonna go take this to the sink and wash it. It's just so full of everything. All right, see if I can zoom out a little bit. So this was sticky, but Dawn soap, a little green scrubber, just cleaned it right up. Daughter, you know, between her vape pen and feminine whatever beauty products and all that crap. So rear. So this does kind of tell you which way to orientate this. I guess it's for the people in the factory, huh? So it's kind of went on easier than it came off. For some reason this gave me a little bit of grief. This will go on. It's got the little holy shit. This thing looks like she let it get loose. I didn't notice that before. Might be an issue where that thing clocks on there. It is screwed. Maybe it'll work. These are reverse threaded. So you turn it counterclockwise. The motor's working so good, it's spinning the motor, I think. And this ain't holding so good. So there we go. Still plugged in. It's definitely moving there. Look at that. Look at that. Would you look at that?
I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
Would you just look at that? Alright. So, that was just, you know, kind of a joke video of not throwing something out and how you could fix it. This actually came out looking pretty good. I'm kind of worried about that being a little chewed up in there where that blade locks onto there. I'm sure my daughter's crashed this thing up and let it run loose a bunch of times. But, so I blast all the lint. I mean, this thing was just full. You couldn't even spin that thing. It was like, it was tight, even with the blade on. So, look at that. I'll push the button now. Look at that, even oscillates. That's low speed. These Lasco brand units move pretty good amount of air. The really cheap ones you buy, you put on high and you can hardly feel anything. These Lasco and the units like them, I usually run them like on 2 in my bedroom. Most of these have a remote control. I think this one might have. And I just run it fixed to just blow, you know, wherever I'm sitting working on my computer. Blow it across the bed just for a little bit more air at night. Works fine. So my daughter took one of the other fans. We have a bunch of these box fans. She took one of those, I noticed, and put it in her room. And then I saw this down in here, so today we find out why. Looks like it's good to go for a while. See how it works. So anyway, this was just a quick video, off the cuff. Didn't prepare nothing. Didn't set out no tools. I just freaking turned on the camera and did it. Should have been more prepared. Should have a better work area. Should have had the right thing out to polish the shaft. Kind of just grabbed this off the cuff and it actually worked. I think it's gonna be fine. Get the oil in there. Probably post this to my YouTube and probably post it on the kind of a, you know, on the HVAC, you know, component teardowns Facebook group. something I've been posting some of the actual fans and some other stuff in there. So good teardowns in that group. People cutting apart scrolls, small reciprocating compressors, pumps, all sorts of cool stuff, just tearing them down, all the way, showing you the failure component, or just like things I like to do is just see what makes something tick, take it apart. So I used to put more of those kind of videos up back in the past. Actually, just found some of my old videos were privatized for some reason, and so I put it back to public and put them as new. So there's one of me like tearing apart a Zone X zone controller, like the master, and it was in like this one office, and it actually had the master controlling all the units on that, like a VAV, but it's on like I think it was on a regular split system, but it had zones. And one of the zone controllers, or one of the zone thermostats, actually was bad and causing it to go on off, and it killed the relay that was soldered on the board of the Zone X, and it was like an old thing. So back in the day, when you had a Radio Shack within a couple miles of you, I would go over there and just buy a couple relays. I bought a couple reed relays in place of the double pole, double throw, whatever it was, and soldered them in there to get the master working again. That would open the damper. And then I had to go and fix the thermostat in the one zone that was causing the erratic relay operation that just grenaded the relay on the master controller. I'm saying that all right. And it worked. And I would do stuff like that, and sometimes too much, instead of just saying, oh, yep, we'll order you a new part. But I don't know, I've always blessed with going to jobs that also had obsolete old things, and it would be a real pain in the ass to, like, time frame wise or something, or for access to be down until you could come up with something to replace everything with, like a whole new system. So I would just do stuff like that. I had an old Carrier thermostat. It's some oncology in Sun City, I believe it was, and it had a sensor just broke off on the main master, little thermostat or whatever. It was like an old Carrier thing, and I took it apart and made I said, this is temporary, and I like be able to grab it. Like broke the sensor right off the body of the sensor, and I was able to kind of get it to solder to bond to that. It looks like a transistor, but it was actually a 3-wire thermistor of some sort. I don't know, but I got it to bond and stick, and then soldered it back to the circuit board, and it read the temperature again, and it worked. As far as I know, the only negative thing is, of course, they don't follow through usually right away, and replacing everything, getting, while it's convenient, hey, let's get a salesman in here, let's get engineers, let's see what we're going to have to do in this place, pretty difficult access at that place. It was an old zone system off of an old, like 39M or something shoved up in there. It might have been a 40RU Carrier system, I think, there with the old reciprocating R22 hooked up to it. Just people like me just kept it working, and it was like put in there in the 80s or something. Do something like that. I used to just, I don't know. That's part of fixing stuff, So it was a double-edged sword. You'd fix it, get them going, where they'd be, where something like that, they were down until, you put a temporary in there or something. But the other half of the double-edged sword is, it's out of their mind because it's working, and then these people in offices will go, hey, it's working, he fixed it. Even though you told them in writing and everything, this is a temporary fix, I don't know how it's going to work. It's obsolete. I recommend you, let's get you some out here to evaluate, give you some quotes, see what kind of options you can get, especially in something like that facility that was not just slapping a air handler. It's an air handler with a bunch of zones, and it had crazy stuff, and they needed to basically change everything. The air handler, the system, the controllers, the zone actuators, put something different in there. Good opportunity to just change it out. Put a VRF system in there. Whatever. Do it. It's better to do it while it's convenient than it is, when you have nothing and you got temporary, units plugged in there. Anyway, I'm ranting now. This is supposed to be a simple video. This is a joke, kind of off the cuff, but just memories. Anyway, hope you guys are having a good one for this Labor Day weekend. Of course, I'm back at home already, but we did some riding yesterday. But other than that, I'm just tinkering with stuff, and did some oil change and car maintenance with my daughter today. And probably go do some drone flying a little bit here, the other daughter. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
and comment.